Viewer discretion is advised.
A 26-year-old man is scheduled to appear virtually before Princestown Magistrate today, charged with violation of his brother. The accused, a lorry man who resides in Princestown, was charged by WPC Hamilton of the Southern Division Child Protection Unit yesterday, following an investigation into a report made by the 12-year-old boy that he was allegedly assaulted by his brother in February 2019. The boy told CPU detectives that while at home with his siblings, his older brother violated him orally. Following investigations and an operation led by Inspector A.G. Khan, Sergeant A.G. Mohammed, and Corporal A.G. Sinclair of the Southern Division CPU, the suspect was subsequently arrested on April 14 and later charged with one count of sexual penetration of a child. Police interviews head of SORT concerning the death of two suspects in the Andrea Barrett case. Inspector Mark Hernandez, head of the Special Operations Response Team, SORT, was questioned by police yesterday. He was detained at 9 a.m. and was still being questioned at the Pinto Road police station last night. According to the police, he is not under arrest. Inspector Hernandez is the latest police officer to be questioned in connection with the deaths of the two suspects Joel Balkan and Andrew Morris in the Andrea Barrett case. Inspector Hernandez is among a group of 14 officers and 6 soldiers who have been interviewed by the Professional Standards Bureau, PSB. Joel Balkan, a.k.a. Devon Charles, died on February 8 at the Eric Williams Medical Science Complex in Mount Hope. He was the main suspect in the kidnapping and murder of Arima resident Andrea Barrett in January. Balkan sustained brain injuries and was paralyzed, and subsequently fell into a coma for several days after police said he was injured during an escape attempt. A post-mortem revealed he died as a result of blunt force trauma. His injuries included several broken ribs, bleeding from internal organs, contusion to the right eye, bleeding of the brain, damage to the legs and shoulders, burn marks to the back, and head fractures. The autopsy was performed by pathologist Dr. Eastlyn McDonald Burris. Andrew Morris, 35, of Tumpuna Road, Arima, was also injured while in police custody and died at the Arima Hospital on February 1st. His death was reported on February 3rd. A post-mortem done at the Forensic Science Center in St. James was inconclusive. A second autopsy, requested by relatives and performed by pathologist Professor Hubert Daisley at Simpson's Chapel in Couva, indicated that Morris died from blunt force trauma, which made his lungs collapse. Wrong place, wrong time. Homicide investigators are working on the theory that a Moruga truck driver and his 19-year-old son may have been taken out because they unintentionally stood in the way of assailants as they made their escape following a shooting incident on Tuesday night. The bodies of Alvin Sims, 41, and Hakeem Sims, 19, of St. Mary's Village, Moruga, were discovered on the Penal Rock Road more than 2 hours after the home of a retired policeman was shot up some 2.5 miles away. Police recovered shell casings for .556 caliber ammunition at both crime scenes. Relatives said Hakeem's car shut down on his way home and he called his father to help him. Police said around 11:10 p.m., a motorist was driving along the stretch when he saw a man lying motionless on the road near a 10-wheeler truck and a gold-colored accent. When the police got to the scene, the truck's headlights were on, the engine was running, and the front door was open. Hakeem was lying on the road between the truck and the car, while Sims was in the drain. Both were dead and their bodies had several gunshot wounds. Sims' 23-year-old daughter, who requested anonymity, said it was only when she arrived at work on Wednesday morning that a friend informed her about the demise of her father and brother. She said she immediately contacted her stepmother, who was already crying because the police had visited their home with the tragic news. She had no clue why anyone would want to kill her father and brother. She said, "My father had no enemies. He was not in nothing with nobody. It's just innocent lives were taken." She said her father lost his job during the Easter vacation and only Monday got a new job. She said her brother worked in construction, but in recent times was working with their father. She did not know where her brother went that night. She continued, "He now start to live life. He just trying to do the right thing. I don't think my brother have any criminal record. He was never in jail or anything." She recalls seeing the grief of the mother of Icacus fisherman Kern Richards after he was shot by the police and prayed that her family never has to go through that pain. "I saw this woman with the fishermen and the policemen in Cedros and the grief that she was going through while talking to the media. And I was saying to myself, I hope this don't be us because it's hard for me to accept." She said she shared a close bond with her father and brother. "I don't even think I could ever get over the fact that he is gone and innocently. These things have to stop." She believes that God will give her family justice. Also speaking on condition of anonymity, the retired police officer whose house was attacked said that he was at home around 9 p.m. with his wife, his 3-year-old granddaughter, 2 other relatives, and a friend when gunshots rang out. He recalled, "Suddenly I heard like a snapshot went off. I ignored it, but it seems as though when the fella pulled out the gun, one went down in the ground. And then suddenly I heard this rapid fire. I said, no, that had to be rapid weapon." The retired officer said he dropped to the floor and crawled to his room because he thought it was a home invasion. He remained there briefly until he felt it was safe to move. The 68-year-old retiree said no one was injured. He is convinced the assailants targeted the wrong house. The former officer, who had 30 years of service, said he retired 13 years ago. "I am not a problem man or anything like that, and a lot of people have already told me that they don't feel it is for me." He said while he had conversations with Sims and his son, he did not know them personally. "I heard about their deaths this morning, and well, I was telling myself I don't know if they would have went back that way, but when I heard it, I say they were using Penal Road as an escape route." Although investigators have not yet ascertained a motive for the crime, they believe the assailants came upon the truck and car that Sims and Hakeem were driving and got into a confrontation with the father and son. Officers of the Moruga Police Station and Homicide Bureau responded to the incident, and investigations are continuing. Police investigate the death of Guyanese LGBTQIA member Marcus Singh. Police believe a domestic dispute led to the death of LGBTQIA member Marcus Singh on Tuesday. Police report that they were called to the home of Marcus Singh at Amethyst Drive, El Dorado, at around 6:45 p.m. When they arrived, they found the body of hairstylist, makeup artist, tailor, and former pageant contestant in a bedroom. A close male friend of Singh is assisting with their investigation. Police also said there were no signs of forced entry and nothing valuable was missing, prompting them to believe Singh knew his assailant. "He was a good person and did not deserve this. I just hope the police do not act slowly to bring justice." This was a sentiment expressed yesterday by a close friend and roommate of the murdered hairstylist, makeup artist and tailor Marcus Anthony Singh. Still reeling from finding Singh's bloodied body on Tuesday as he arrived home from work at the apartment they shared with a third person at Amethyst Drive, El Dorado, 22-year-old Ronaldo Gosin described Singh as a great person who would always bring a smile to your face. It was around 6 p.m. on April 13 when Gosin entered the bedroom and found Singh lying face down on the floor in his underwear with wounds to his back. Singh, a proud member of the LGBTQIA community, was well known for executing outstanding bridal packages consisting of makeup and hairstyles as well as specially designed outfits, which had gained him quite a reputation. Although Singh's body was ordered removed to the Forensic Science Center St. James around 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday by the district medical officer, the autopsy will not be done until Friday. The wait is to facilitate the return of the COVID-19 test results. Revealing he had not received any feedback from the authorities up to 4 p.m. yesterday, Gosin said while Singh's close relatives live in Guyana, he and a woman who are very close to Singh would be the only two people witnessing the autopsy as the country's borders remain closed. He said Singh did not have any enemies or received any threats.